And there we go. Good evening, folks. Welcome to another live of Spirit Whisperers Live. I'm welcoming you this evening with some fantastic guests and a wonderful co-host this evening. So my name is Charlotte Underwood. I'm an international medium and paranormal investigator. We've got Shelley Smith, who's one of my co-hosts. Hi, Shelley. How are you?
Hello.
You all right,
How are you, Charlotte?
I'm good. We've got Sam Mizalowski, my other co-host. She's amazing. You all right, doll?
Yes, I am.
Good. And tonight, for tonight only, we have the lovely Dan Rickard from Night Watchers Paranormal Australia, who's joining us as another co-host. So that's fantastic. Thank you for joining us tonight, Dan.
No worries, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And I'd like to also welcome very warmly our wonderful guest. We've got Matthew Sorge from SRS Paranormal. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, honored to be here.
Thank you. And we've got Matt Warner from Warner Paranormal Explorers. How
Hello.
are you, Matt?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And we've got our lovely Howard Petrie. How are you, Howard?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
Oh, look at the love being spread to everyone. So we are really happy to have you all. I can't say hello to everyone because it's going so fast. So we've got Jax Wilson, Kelly Reid, Maureen, hello, Mark Cooper, we've got Claire Ferris, Waring, Tony Proctor, and the list goes on and on and on. So guys, welcome again this evening. It's fantastic to have you. And I'm going to hand over to our fabulous Sam.
Hi. Hello, Matthew. How are you?
I'm good, Sam. How are you?
I'm great. I have spoke to you before on another chat, so it's nice to see you again.
Yes, glad to be here.
What have you been up to? Have you still out with your metal detector? And
I unfortunately have not been out metal detecting in a very long time. I've been so busy with projects like the film and other things that I just that's been kind of my focus here lately.
That's a shame because I know that you like your metal detecting as well.
I do.
So
I do.
The film that's coming out, that's The Haunting of Randolph County Asylum, isn't it?
That's correct. Yep.
When does that come out?
Well, we had a production delay, unfortunately, and that was my fault. I'm doing the editing, and for those of you that do a lot of high-end editing, you know that sometimes one catastrophic problem that affects your storage servers can be a nightmare. So I had 300 hours of finished work that I lost terribly and had to restart. So yeah, it was terrible. But we're back on track, and I'm hoping in the next couple of months to get it finalized. I may get Dan to take a look at it since he does a lot of edit stuff. I may see if he'll take a look and do some tweaks for me. So
Not a
that's
problem,
kind of
mate.
the plan.
No problem.
Are you able to tell us a bit about The Haunting of Randolph County Asylum, or is it on the download just now?
Absolutely. Randolph County Asylum is here in the States. There was a time in our history here. We're a very young country compared to you all in Scotland and England and these other places. But there was a time here in, the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s, where if a county or a city couldn't take care of people, people didn't have family to take care of them, they would end up in what we would call poorhouses or asylums. A lot of people, when you talk about asylums, what immediately comes to mind is places of where mentally ill people would be held, but that is not necessarily what asylums were. Pretty much every county and every city in the states had one of these type of facilities, and Randolph County is one of the ones that still stands. So it's sort of a throwback to a time and era when that was common in our country, and it's well over 200 documented deaths on the property. There's a actual unmarked graveyard where the people that weren't claimed and the county couldn't afford to give them proper burial were put in a mass grave. And it's one of America's most notoriously haunted locations. So it was really awesome to get the opportunity to go in there and try to tell the true story of the asylum with some wonderful guests that joined us. Medium Sky Ray was one of them. Justin Spurrier from Spurrier Paranormal, and the one and only J.W. Prather, who builds very unique IDC devices. And it was an awesome experience. We did some things that I had certainly never done, and I don't know a lot of people have done before. So it was a fantastic thing.
How did you feel, obviously, with researching the asylum? And then did you actually physically go into the asylum yourself?
Oh
and
yeah.
like walk about. So how did that feel for you after like researching for as long?
Yeah, so what we did with that is we have a historian on our team, SRS Paranormal. So our team has a lot of different specialties, each person has a special skill set. So our historian did a lot of the background research, and I didn't want to have a whole lot of background when I first went in to just see what I could connect with and what I could feel myself. And when working with somebody else in the role as the focused medium, my job is sort of to support them with the equipment, the meters, the ID, the EDI, those type of things where we can get environmental data, where we can get some information to help support what they're connecting with, their feeling, and in a sense validate that on another level. So that was sort of my role. So walking into the asylum, it's really crazy because it's kind of walled off in two areas. So the front part is completely restored to how it would have been in probably the 1930s or 40s. So when you walk into that area, it's completely finished. There's all kinds of furnishings and relics from the actual asylum itself. And then when you open the doors to go actually into the asylum area, it is, the paint is peeling, and it's really kind of got that whole haunted, creepy feel. And it's like literally walking from one side to the other feels completely different.
Wow.
And when night falls, it takes on a whole different life of its own.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. It was really cool to get to experience that. We were on location for 2 days, and we had 20-hour days when we were there. So it was, filming stuff for the daytime, the interview shots, the history shots, your B-roll stuff. And then at night, we were filming investigation sequences. We had a whole production crew, sound guys, camera guys, the whole 9 yards. So
That's fantastic. Asylums are my thing. I love like old hospitals and asylums and things like that. I don't know what it is about them. It's like I just think the energy in them alone,
yeah.
because it's seen there's that much happened in them, whether it's been good or bad or whatever. It's the energy's just intense, and it's like you said, it's a complete opposite between day and night. So you can go in the daytime, you can be calm as you like. You go at night, and it all kicks off.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
me and
And what was
Shelley actually done one. We done an old hospital, which was for like it was like a mental institute, wasn't it, Shelley? I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. There was a
the
lot of
things-
residual energy, and it was so emotional, really.
Mhm. It's
Yeah,
like you're getting
connecting
a
with all
mixture
the
of different
energy.
people coming in.
Yeah,
Very,
absolutely.
very strange. So, how did this all start for you? What brought you to the paranormal?
Okay, so what brought me to the paranormal is I was one of those people that knew people that had experiences. I knew a lot of people that, did some stuff with it, but I never had any experiences of my own. And then in 2005, I was metal detecting, which is kind of the hobby that we talked a little bit about in the beginning that I like to do that unfortunately I don't get to do a lot of anymore. But I was at an old place that had not had anybody there, had not lived in the house that was on the property in probably 40 or 50 years. And I felt like somebody was staring at me. And I looked up at the window of this house that nobody had been in all those years. In the middle of this cornfield, nothing in any direction for probably 8 or 10 acres. And literally an apparition was staring back at me, looked just like all of you looking at me right now. I was floored, and I did what every grown man does when you have that experience. I grabbed my detector and my shovel, and I ran to my truck as quick as I could and hauled ass out of there because I had just seen a ghost. So it was time to go. And that was the experience that changed my life. Here I went from being a skeptic that had never had anything happen to seeing something. And now, 16 years later, hundreds of investigations. I've never seen anything to rival that initial experience. I'll answer that question real quick. Somebody says, when is the film coming out? I hope here in the next couple of months. We're trying to get the final post-production stuff. I am not only the director and producer, but the editor, so I'm trying to get that stuff done. One last comment on the film I want to point out with the J.W. Prather. Some of the things we did was this 58,000 square foot facility. We actually wired it for real-time spirit communication using some of Jay's stuff. So we were doing ITC experiments that were literally 58,000 square foot in size and monitoring every floor at one time. So we really tried to do things that people hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
You've got Jenny Sullivan saying here, just
Wow.
hail, staying in a fantastic hotel this weekend. Used to be an asylum hospital, stunning hotel. Jen and Aidan, they're from Ireland, so that's where they're going this weekend.
Ah, cool. Nice.
You've also studied some courses, as in your ancient civilization, your omens and oracles, prophecies, and also the occult practices. What was your favourite area to study and why?
Well, during some of those readings and some of the class work study that really pulled me was like the ancient the Sumerian civilization, when they would do stuff like haropsy, where they would use livers of animals to actually read prophecies. And so, like, if I were getting ready to go out as a for a civilization to search out something or to conquer a new land, I would go to my soothsayer and I would actually, they would pick a lamb to sacrifice, and then they would take that liver and they would actually slice the liver open, and depending on what was inside the liver, that prophet would read that and then make a prediction as to what should happen. So, as crazy and barbaric as that what was really crazy when they started studying this on academia, started really looking at this, there was a 60% accuracy, because they would take what they got from those livers and they would transcribe it into clay replicas, and it would put their prophecy or their prediction. And they found, when they uncovered these ancient Sumerian texts, that there was a 60% accuracy. So when we think of stuff like, tarot or any type of oracles, when you throw the bones and they read bones, when you have that kind of accuracy, that's something else is guiding that, right? It wasn't literally the liver that they were reading. It was whatever they were connecting with, whatever was giving them information and messages. That's how they were pulling that stuff. They just happened to have a belief system that, by our standards, would be kind of barbaric. But yeah, so that fascinated me when I was studying and reading up on some of that stuff. And I think that's the cool thing about paranormal, is the deeper you get into it as a researcher, the more you find yourself looking for other sources and things to study to make you a better researcher.
It's amazing what they would do, isn't it? The things that they can actually research to make you better at what you're wanting to do. I know that you've done your supernatural horror convention. What do you look for in the convention, like the themes or the areas that you bring into that?
So what we're doing with that's something that we've never done before. That is a large scale event. Unfortunately, like the rest of the world, COVID caused a lot of delays and moving stuff. And we're still having some issues with the venues. So we're getting ready to switch venues because of that. But really, pretty much, we're looking for any teams or vendors that want to come in and share what they do. As far as guest speakers, some of your paranormal TV people are coming to be there as, celebrity guests, but other speakers, we look for mediums, we look for people who have done things in paranormal.
I'm going.
That's why I'm kind of pointing over there. Yeah, so we look for mediums like that to come in and be guest speakers and that sort of thing. Anybody that's really done unique work. Bishop James Long, he's a demonologist. He's one we've got coming. So that's sort of what we look for, is unique. I guess the word I was looking for was unique speakers that can be people that can teach classes and actually give people something.
It seems really interesting. That's something that we've been thinking about as a team, as in the Spirit Whisperers. We've actually been thinking about some sort of some sort of Paracon in the near future, sort of thing. Obviously, it's going to take
next year we're going to do it, aren't we, girls?
Next year.
Yeah.
We're going to try.
It's a lot of work putting together a large scale event and trying to do it right. So just take your time and drink lots of coffee or whatever it is that your stimulant is. Whiskey, that's like my go-to. But whatever yours is, find your thing and make sure you have plenty of it, because you're going to need it.
I've organised events before, but nothing on this scale. So I might come to you for advice.
Yes. But it's fun. That's the thing. It's fun, and you get to connect with a lot of cool people. So that's always good.
So what's next for you, Matthew?
First and foremost is getting through this edit and getting this project out. We did launch our own production company when we decided to do this. So we've got some other projects in the pipeline that we're going to try to get together. SRS Paranormal is working on some pretty cool things that I think will be pretty exciting. We're not quite ready to announce it yet, but I think everybody's going to be pretty excited about that. And let's just say there's some people right here that might be involved in that expansion project. So there's some cool stuff coming.
That's good. It's been
I'm
lovely
watching
talking
the
to
love
you.
being spread in the comments. Are you
Me too.
commenting to a certain person?
He's
Bless
not
her.
listening.
He's got his
Right,
mute
oh.
on.
Who?
He's still.
There he is.
There we go.
No, I'm listening and watching along and trying to write in the comments to all these goons.
Was it to me? Was it?
We thought it might be a certain person in there.
It's my not so secret boyfriend Casey Boatwright, the lovely Casey
Okay.
Boatwright.
Nice.
I did wonder.
Very nice.
Love you, boo. I miss you.
Oh,
Sorry, Sam, interrupting you there.
No, you're absolutely fine.
No,
Do you have anything, Dan, that you want to?
I was very intrigued with what he was saying. No, everything's cool. No, all good. All good. I'm just actually getting a bit of static in my ears, so I'm just trying to block that out.
I'm actually hearing that myself, and
You
I
hear
don't
it
know
too?
if it's maybe coming off of me.
Yeah, me too.
Don't know.
So-
I thought it was thrash metal music or something at first in the background. I'm like, what's that? But no, it's like a bit of static or something. Every
I
time
can
someone
hear
talks.
it as well.
Yeah, there is a bit
So-
of noise behind, isn't there?
Right,
I've
so
got my
Charlotte, see-
earphones in, so.
Could I possibly
But-
ask you to go next? And what I'll do is I'll come off this device and I'll
course,
put my
yeah.
laptop on, because I think my
Yeah.
coughing's starting as well, and I'm actually really
Okay, honey.
all right.
No
So
worries.
I'll go
Yeah.
and come back in. Okay.
No problem, my love.
Right. Bye.
Bye, hon.
Shelley's
There we go.
recuperating
It's
from
not-
COVID.
It wasn't coming from Shelley.
No, it was when Matthew was talking. I noticed every time he spoke, it was like a constant thing. But it's not doing it all the time. See, now when I'm talking, I can hear it a little bit in
Yeah.
my ear.
Mhm.
So
Hi, Dee. How are you? Hope you and the family are well.
I can hear it when people aren't talking. Yeah, weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's still there. Matthew, can you just mute a second, just see if it's yours? No, it must be just be in the thing. Right, anyway. So, so, Matt, how are you, my lovely? And again, once again, huge congratulations on the birth of your beautiful, beautiful little girl. She's gorgeous.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And to
Everything
both
is-
of you, to Erin as well. So I don't know if Erin's watching tonight. Congratulations to you,
She's
sweetheart.
actually on her way back from the hospital. I don't know if
Aw.
she's got it on her phone or not, but she's
Oh,
seen
bless
enough
her.
of me anyways. So
Oh, static since the beginning. Yeah, I think it's just an issue with StreamYard. Thank you, though, Jason, for letting us know.
probably just
Um,
the ghosts.
Yeah, could be. Oh, actually, you say that. Before I was on here, I was listening to music upstairs, and I've got two of the, I'm not going to say them, but the Echoes. And I had that on, and it just kept cutting off for no reason. I'm like, what's going on here? Thought this is a bit strange. So, Matt, I would like to just ask you a little bit about your childhood. And obviously, you grew up in the Bridgewater area, the Bridgewater Triangle, is that correct?
Correct.
In Mass. And obviously you had experiences as a child. So what sort of, what can you tell us about those experiences that you had that led you to where you are now?
So, I mean, I didn't know of the coined term, the Bridgewater Triangle, growing up, because obviously it was an obscure book written by Lauren Coleman back in the 70s. He's a cryptozoologist from Maine. But I grew up, my grandparents lived next door to me, so I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time there, and their house was haunted. And it was never something that was hidden in my family. It was always open and accepted. Now, I believe it was my great-grandmother that passed in the house, but I never had any experiences there. I never witnessed anything, heard anything, but I always heard the stories, and we just called the ghost Casper because that's what we did. So it was always open, and my Nana was fantastic. She was that person you could ask to buy you anything you wanted, and she would buy it for you. No questions asked. So I would always take advantage of this as a young child, and she would buy me, like I said, anything. And we'd go to the store, and I used to get horror VHS tapes, those big, bulky things that kids probably don't know what are nowadays. But
I remember those.
Yeah, they sucked. They were awful. Remember you used to get charged if you didn't rewind them before you brought them back to the store? Like, how ridiculous that is. But yeah, so I remember I convinced her to buy me this awful movie called The Ghoulies, which, as an adult, is a terrible movie. Like, I've watched it recently, and it's a steaming pile of crap. But when you're 5 or 6 years old and you don't understand that it's a movie, I was afraid to use the toilet for about a week. And I couldn't tell my mother. Like, I couldn't be like, oh yeah, Nana got me this movie, because I didn't want Nana to get in trouble. I didn't want my pipeline of awesome stuff to get cut off. So I kind of just dealt with it. But so I grew up with horror at a young age, and Ghostbusters came out around the same time. So I was always fascinated with that. I've always liked the idea of fear and being scared, because it's one of those emotions you don't know how you're going to react. It's fight or flight. You know, is it going to make you laugh? Is it going to run? So it's always been something. And growing up before the advent of the internet, like, we used to have to read books and go to the library and do very old-timey things. So before the TV shows came about, I didn't know other people saw ghosts and had things happen. I had a couple of things happen as a child that I just brushed off as imagination, like you're told to. And as the show started coming on, first it was Sightings, which was a paranormal themed show. It was mostly alien stuff, but they would throw ghost things in there once in a while. They actually did a whole episode on Atchison, Kansas, with the whole Sally House and everything, with that whole original case. I remember that clear as day. Then Unsolved Mysteries came about, and during Halloween season, they'd always do all ghosts. And you had creepy-ass Robert Stack and his cool voice talking about everything. Those stuck with me. So I started getting more and more books and just reading and researching and doing what I can. I've got Hans Holzer's books and the Warrens' books. I've got all kinds of books. And I would try to find anything local to me and explore it, and I guess investigate it, even though I had no idea that's what I was doing. And in one of the books I had, I think it was like a weird Massachusetts or something. There's a series of books for every state in this country and every region. It's like weird fill in the blank, and it's a collection of stuff. And it was a little paragraph about this road that was not but 20 minutes from where I live. And it was one of those roads that anything that's paranormal could happen there. Bigfoot, other cryptids, giant thunderbirds, Native American spirits, all of it. So the road itself cuts through a very rich neighborhood, and then the second half of the road is just this roughly paved lane and a half wide road that goes through former native land. It's all protected conservation land, and it's a cut through that they use. So what we would do is we would drive down this road, see what would happen, turn around at the end, and come back through. And I went down this thing at least 80 to 100 times. As a bored teenager, I had nothing better to do with my life after I got out of work. But hey, let's drive up and down the road. And I went down there one night with a buddy. I was like 19 at the time. And it was in January. It was very warm and seasonably dry for New England. And I picked him up. I got out of work. I picked him up. And I said, hey, I think when we go down the road tonight, I think I'm going to just stop in the middle of the road and turn the lights off and see what happens. And this dude, to this day, he's a chicken shit. He's one of those scared people. So, and I'm a really nice friend, of course. So I said, yeah, no worries, dude. I'm not going to do that to you. And so we get down there, cutting through the road. We drive down, get the windows down because it's pretty warm out, and get to the end. We turn around, and we're heading back. And Aaron, go to bed.
Hi, Aaron.
You tell this story. This is why I tell her, don't watch my podcasts. Like, you've heard the story. Like, whatever. She's so supportive. God, I love her.
She does.
So we get to the end of this road. We turn around, and about halfway back through the rundown part of the road, I start bringing the truck to a stop. Bring it to a stop. My buddy goes, oh, don't do this. I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I turn the lights off on my truck. As soon as I turn the lights off, right in front of my truck, I see two white hands on my hood. I see up the arm, all white up to the shoulders. I never saw a head because I freaked out. I flipped the lights back on and I floored it. The truck wouldn't move. It just stayed there, and the wheels just spun as if it was being held in place by whatever this thing was.
Wow.
And after what seemed like an eternity, it finally moved, but didn't go forward. It went to the side as if it was just shoved. So now the truck's going at a ridiculous amount of speed this way. I'm fighting the wheel. My buddy's screaming at me to stop doing this to him as if I can control it. And I said, dude, I can't control any of this. Just as there's a huge, massive tree off to the side of the road. I'm able to control the truck away from this tree. Get through this neighborhood at like 60, 65 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers for you guys. I apologize. It's fast.
We use miles an hour, so don't worry.
Do you really? Oh,
we do. Yeah.
Okay, well, you can have that. We'll let you use that.
It's Europe that use kilometers.
All right, fair enough.
No, it's Australia uses them too.
Oh, there you go.
All right, well, it's okay. Yeah. We're all friends here.
We're kilometers, yeah.
So we get through this neighborhood at breakneck speed, get out to the main road, and keep going. And this was early days of cell phones. I had the old flip phone, And I pulled over and I said to him, I said, "What'd you just see?" And he said, "There was a woman in a white gown in front of your truck." And I said, "That's exactly what I saw." I called my mom. I said, "You're not going to believe what I saw," because she used to like this crap too. She'd go up and down the road with her boyfriend. And one time I actually hid in the woods and jumped out at her. And I think this is karma.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that whole experience changed my entire outlook on the other side of things.
Yeah.
I didn't go back down there for probably 5 years. My friend has never been back down there. Pretty scarred. And like I said, he was kind of a coward type of person anyways, not into this stuff. I didn't have anyone into this stuff. I just dragged whoever was around. And that's why, like, I've been investigating for since then, you know, officially. So 20 something years, when people are like, "Oh, I didn't know." I said, "What? I didn't have any friends that wanted to do it." So I just did it, you know, and enjoyed it. But that was the moment for me. So since then, I've just been searching for more, you know, I used to say answers, but I'm not looking for answers. I'm just looking for more personal experiences to keep adding to my own life story, so to speak.
And I think that's a really good thing. I think that's what we're all doing, really, aren't we? When we are searching, we are looking for answers, trying to help people as well. So along with your investigating, obviously you do connect to spirits in an empathic way and a psychic way. When did that all start for you? When did you notice you had these abilities? Obviously you've had the experience with spirit, but when did you notice you had the abilities to actually communicate with them?
So for me, I've always known I was empathic. When I was younger, I used to wonder, obviously no one likes wakes and funerals and stuff, but they used to really affect me, even if it was people I didn't know. And I was like, ugh, like, why is this so rough? But as I've gotten older, I realized, because I'm just a sponge when I go into a room and I just absorb all this gross energy. And I actually work part-time at an elementary school, and it's like a supercharger for me. I go in and I take all that good energy, and then I deal with the adult BS for the rest of the day, and I'm balanced. So it really helps. But I've been empathic for as long as I can remember, and I've had people for years tell me, "Oh, you have these gifts," and I was like, "I don't want them. I don't want to talk to dead people. I don't want to see Bruce Willis and all this crap. Like, I'm good." And I still kind of shut it off because I'm not mentally ready for that. Mentally, I'm still a high school kid, so I don't know how I can handle all that. But what wound up happening to me a couple of years ago is my friend Kenna did a bunch of Reiki on me. She's like, "You mind if I do this?" I was like, "Yeah. Whatever, melt your butter. I don't care, whatever." Because I didn't really believe in it, but I put the belief that she believed in herself in it. And she's in Georgia, so, you know, we're a ways apart, and we're doing it remotely. And I just was sitting here. I was like, holy crap, I can feel all this, like, negative sludge just kind of coming off me. And it sounds so hokey even saying it. Like, I fully believe it, but I don't want people to be like, this guy's full of shit. Like, but it does work if you put the belief in it with, like, a lot of things. And she warned me. She said, you know, now. Can we go from this? Can we send her out of here?
No, she's too entertaining.
That's not fair.
We're not sending Erin anywhere. She's
I'm
welcome.
not telling her about the next podcast, so dude, that's that.
What are you watching on? Are you watching on Facebook or YouTube?
Facebook.
No wonder I can't see the comments. I'm watching on YouTube. There's nothing in the comment section at all. At all. I'm like, what are you guys reading? I'm not reading anything. Anyway, I can't get on.
Dan, on the StreamYard, because we've all logged in and we're all like admins on the StreamYard, we get all the comments that come up. So then we can click them on and put them onto the stream.
Yeah, but are you streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and others, or I should be getting the comments on YouTube too then? So I don't know why it's not coming up. I should be getting them on YouTube as well.
You're not seeing them on the side of your screen?
No, nothing. Huh. I've refreshed it like 100 times. I tried to log into Facebook, but it wants to give me the two-factor authentication, but I can't do it on my phone. So all good. I just can't see the comments.
You're not missing anything. It's just Erin being ignorant.
Be careful what you say. Be careful.
I'm being very nice. But yeah, so Kenna kind of warned me. She said, now that all that's kind of off you, you're going to be much more susceptible as you're ghost hunting. So just be wary. And I was like, okay, sure. And I didn't notice it right away, but I had an experience at Wilson Castle in Vermont, and it got further than being able to feel. Like, I've always felt like a human barometer. I can feel pressure changes and energy changes in the room and kind of, lead myself that way. But I actually physically saw the spirit of a boy, but only his hand holding my hand. This was after I first I saw the energy in my hand. It kind of looked like a video game when you're getting ready to throw that fireball. Hadouken, it looked like that, but it looked like dry ice kind of spilling out of my fingertips.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, I was like, holy shit, I've got superpowers, you know, and like, you know, no one else can see it. I'm just sitting there, I was like, I haven't even had a drink tonight, so it's not that. It's all just normal. And
Someone out the X-Men, Matt.
Well, exactly. It got more and more powerful. And then at the end of the night, when I was like, listen, bud, you took all my energy, I've got to go. I saw this child's actual hand in mine. And I was like, I gotta go outside. And
Wow.
since then I see energy. I see it in the form of large, almost soccer ball sized balls of light, usually gold for some reason is the color that I see. And when I'm really open, I have much better experiences. But like I said, I try to shut myself off because it's distracting to me. So I'm not fully ready for all that stuff yet.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with when you're open. It's that they know. So even if you try and shut off, there's not that factor of, right, we're not going to communicate here anymore. You know, it's sort of, there's ways and means of doing it. But do you now put protection around yourself, knowing that how this can affect you?
So I'm not one of those white light people, because that just sounds ridiculous to me and I can't get into it. But I wear a couple bracelets that people have made that are Reiki charged, and again, I take their faith and that belief and just rock with it. And I haven't had any spiritual hitchhikers in quite some time, so something's working.
Yeah, I think if you don't always have to do the like you say, the white light and things. If it's in here and you're projecting that out, then you're protecting yourself regardless, you know. So it's because it's not for, like you say, it's not for everyone, is it? You know, yeah. So I think it's definitely important that we put out to there that you to people that you should protect, but you do your own thing, you know.
Well, a lot of people try to just inject religion into everything that they do, and I'm not a religious person.
Yeah, I know.
I'm spiritual. I believe in myself, the universe, and all that. So the white light thing doesn't really vibe with what I'm putting down with. But power of old ass rocks on my wrist, sure.
Yeah. Bless you. So I know with when you talk about the religion side, a lot of people try to bring it in, and it's, for me, I've been doing it over 25 years now. You know, and I just look at the fact that, you know, when you do bring religion into things, it can really complicate. So it has to be left as an open book as far as religion is concerned, you know, because there's lots of people that come on investigations that have lots of different religions. So you have to take that into account also, you know. So I think it's an important point you made there. I wanted to ask you about these items that I keep seeing in your home on Facebook. So obviously you are a collector. So I saw the morgue table, the little trolley.
That's my kitchen table. Yep.
Yeah. And obviously you collect macabre items, you know, enchanted items. Could you tell us a little bit about that? What made you start to collect things?
So I've over the years, people have gotten to know that I have an eclectic, oddball taste. I've always collected something. I'm a borderline hoarder, and I understand it. I get it. But my stuff is everything to me. But over the years, I've had people reach out to me with things that are bothering them, and they believe that these items have some sort of energy to them. I fully believe that we leave energy everywhere we go. It's just like skin cells. We're just leaving it. Yeah. And there's no reason that something can't contain our energy for a really long time after we've gotten rid of it. The main one that I have dozens of stuff. I'm just looking around. I have dozens of stuff. I have a shelf of supposed haunted Ouija boards right here. I'm still here. You know, they're not doing anything bad to me. I've got one, actually. I've got a new one right here that was just shipped out to me. I haven't even opened it yet. And again, nothing's happened. But I have a doll. Everybody's got a haunted doll too. So I try not to talk about her too much, because people I don't want to be considered like, oh, he's one of those people that just has to have something. A couple years ago, a friend of mine contacted me one day and he said, hey, I know you're into this stuff. Somebody left this in my truck. And I said, what is it? And he said, it's a doll and it's got a noose on her neck. And I said, I'll take it, because why not? And he said, all right, let me talk to my wife. We'll see what she has to say. And I didn't hear from him for like a month. And then he contacted me again. He said, if you want it, you have to come and get it right now. I'm going to burn it. I said, what's been going on with it? And he said, well, since it's been here, I've never taken it out of the truck. It sat in the back. But his mother-in-law died. His best friend committed suicide. His whole family was fighting. Everything was going wrong in his life since that doll showed up. So I went and picked it up. And she's there. I fully believe in her, but she's creepy looking, and I saged his truck for him and all that, make him feel better, and I took it home. And anytime I'm given or I bring in some new, enchanted, I say enchanted also because haunted just makes you think it's all scary, and there's nothing scary going on in this house most of the time. So I brought her in, and usually I'll just wait until I go Facebook Live and bring it to the masses, and we do a little investigation on there with equipment and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for the few days that I had her in the house before that, I just didn't feel right. I was very extra angry, more so than usual, very grumpy, and I said, we gotta do this and get this over with. Because after I do the reveals, I basically Cheech and Chong this place with Sage and Palo Santo, and just like open the windows and get everything gone. So we did a live session. The energy in the room was out of control. I had a few different psychics that were watching that were messaging me and be like, "What's up with the energy in your house?" And I was like, "It's this thing, And the noose around her neck, we found out, is some sort of like a voodoo binding spell.
Mm-hmm.
And we were using an Ovilus at the time, and one of the things that came out was Ameline. And it's a strange word. It's a French word that means hard worker. So I've taken that as her name. A couple other words that came up were water and New Orleans. So, of course, it's leading us down this voodoo connection path.
Mm-hmm.
And me being me, I wanted to take the noose off. They said, do not take the noose off ever. Leave it on there. So it's still there. And as we're going through all this stuff, all of a sudden broadcast ends, computer shuts down, TV shuts off, everything. The whole house is just like, but we didn't lose power. And I'm just sitting here alone, and I'm like, shit, I don't like this at all, but the energy also calmed down at the same time. So I fired the broadcast back up. One of my friends messaged me. She goes, the energy's fine now. Like, everything seems good. And I said, yeah, it's weird. Like, it doesn't make sense. But since then, I've been told she likes attention. I, too, really like attention. So I think that's why she found me. And we're the perfect pair. I bring her to conventions. I'm not like, I don't have her in a glass case like Annabelle. You want to touch her, go right ahead. Just know that she's haunted. So she really enjoys the attention. And one of the last times I took her to a convention, it was up in Maine. And I came home. Actually, before I came home, I was eating lunch with my daughter. And a different psychic friend messaged me. She goes, you've got a very strong older female's energy with you. It's not an attachment, but it is with you. And I sent her a picture. I said, oh, was it this? And she goes, what are you doing with that? I said, oh, that's my friend Emily. And she's like, you need to get rid of it. I was like, I'm not getting rid of it. Absolutely not. She's everything. She's like, just be careful. I came home that night, and as I entered my house, she was still out in the Jeep. And I came in the house, and I heard a man and a woman talking in my living room. And then I heard a child laugh. Brought Ameline in and never heard it again. So Ameline is like this matriarchal energy that takes over everything in this house. She's in charge of everybody and everything in here. And I think that while she was gone, they were having a little party.
As they would.
Anytime I've tried to read anything in this room, it starts off good and then she comes through. So she's cool. We get along really well. But I've haunted trunks, other dolls. What else? Masks. Whatever people say is enchanted and they can't take, I take it. On the off chance that maybe it has got something cool to it. I have a set of paintings that brought bad energy in here that aren't in my living room. Those are in the basement, and I hate them.
But that's the thing as well, and I think people forget a lot of the time that respect is a massive thing, and obviously you and her have got a mutual respect between you.
Chris.
Hi, Chris. So it's really important to remember that, because when you're working with spirits, have that mutual respect, because if you don't, then you can start to get things, happening, and like you've had in the house, but you've obviously gained that respect with her, and it's settled, and she, like you said, she's the matriarchal spirit of the house, and I think it's so interesting because there's so many views out there on haunted items, and I like to say to people, well, take away the word haunted and think about it just being a special energy, albeit negative or positive. It's a special energy that is with that item, rather than saying haunted, and because there's so many items out there that actually we have items that bring good luck. We have items that bring happiness into homes, and it's not just the negative. Do you have any like that have brought more of a positive vibe to the home?
No.
I
think people keep those for themselves. But I mean, all the stuff, it does bring me joy. Like the weirder, the creepier, the stranger, it brings me joy. So I guess in essence, it all does that for me.
And it's if you're comfortable with it, then it's it's something that you want to keep doing, which is fantastic. So I want to talk here about your new venture of the research centre. So it's South Shore, isn't it? Paranormal Research Centre. So could you tell us a little bit about this? Because I was seeing that you have your little daughter, and she's gorgeous, by the way, that is involved in this. And this is a thing that I am quite passionate about, because there's not many people out there that will help families, that will help children. And I think it's so important to allow children to understand about not just the paranormal, but spirit in general, and connection and things like that. So could you tell us a little bit about the centre, please?
Yeah, so this building, it's a location I've been working on getting into for over a year. It's one I've known about for quite a while. It's a fantastic building. It dates back to the Civil War, and it was built during and finished. It was finally completed in 1899, and it's just steeped with Civil War history. And it was built by the wives of Civil War soldiers, so they all had a meeting place to come after the war. And it's seen its fair share of all sorts of history. They did have some funerals and wakes there over the years. They've had different groups and organizations renting space there. And a friend of mine did get the opportunity to investigate this place 15 years ago and had some experiences. Now, I know the people that are in there now also have had a lot of experiences, and they kind of brush it off, keep it hush-hush. They're not really paranormal types. So I have been working my butt off trying to get them just to let my weirdo ass in the door, just to talk. And we're past that. I had to join their club. I don't even know what it is, but I'm a member of something now. But I'm able to get in there and investigate. So we have started laying, myself and a few close friends. We've been in there a few times. I was just in there last night, small group of us. And basically what we're doing is we're kind of trying to back up some of the claims that the members have had and try to get our own experiences, so that when I am able to do the events at this location, that it's not just some building that I open the door. So I'm only going to bring a place to the masses if it actually has activity. I went there last night was the first time I went by myself. I got there early because everybody was late. I didn't purposely go by myself. I'm not going to pretend I don't get scared. I get scared all the time. That's why I do this stuff. When there's a camera on, it's a little different. I pretend to be a little tougher than I am. But last night, when I got in there, I walked in, and I said, well, I'm going to go Facebook Live immediately, because at least people are kind of with me. So I went Facebook Live on my paranormal page and doing the walkthrough, and I'm walking up the main staircase up to the second floor, and myself and two other people have seen an apparition, like just out of the peripheral, like the wisp of an apparition go through the foyer and up those stairs. And this is a report that other people have had too. So I'm walking up these stairs. I get up to the first landing and I hear something, and I look back. I'm like, all right, I heard something. I get to the top of the landing, and I heard right up the steps right behind me. And I freaked out a little bit on camera because it scared the absolute crap out of me. And
did you go running?
I power walked.
Power walked. Is that what they call it now?
Yes. Yep. So I was like, oh, like they're here. And then I walked into the main room. It's this big grand ballroom, and I walked in further, stopped in the middle, and it's an old wooden parquet floor. So you walk in, you hear your footsteps. I stop walking, and you hear more footsteps going away from me in every which direction, and everyone watching could hear them too. And I was like, yeah, this room is always active. So it's a fantastic location. They need help keeping restorations going and keeping the building afloat. So that's what I presented to them. I said, if you allow me to come in a few times a month and run some events here, low-key events, private rentals, we can put money into this place, and you guys will be able to hold on to it for generations to come. And next month is looking like when I'm going to be able to have this place open and up and running. So it's been a passion project for a while. History has always been my driving force with a lot of this stuff, and being able to preserve it for other people is fantastic. It's very rewarding.
So with your little one, she's not so little, bless her, but she's a sweetie. How is she with connection? Does she connect as well like you, or does she just enjoy it?
She's not fully wrapped. She doesn't understand what she has yet either, because she has some abilities that I like the stuff I don't understand. She's got it too. Those creepy paintings I have in my basement are what kind of changed her mind. That brought some dark demon-like spirit to her in the middle of the night one night, and it changed her whole perspective. So since then, she's really been interested in, and a lot of it, she just likes spending time with me, which I love.
Yeah, bless her.
But she really does enjoy it. She has this thing for basements. She loves going in the basements. I hate them. I like attics. She likes basements. And she's really small, so she fits in little spots nice. So that works out too. She's very beneficial. But she really does enjoy it. And I've always supported that. It's like if your kids like softball, you support it. If they like soccer, you support it. There's no different with paranormal. It's not we're not out here, bloodletting and doing all these awful sick sermons and stuff. People look at it wrong. And one of my hopes with this research center is I'm going to be doing family-friendly ghost hunts so that people, it's only going to be open to families, because I want people to be able to do that, and nowhere else is doing it.
I'll just put this up for you here. Just Jason's.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, that's we got to preserve it. That's all that we have.
Yeah, I think it's important, and that's why I'm saying what you're doing, trying to incorporate families and educate children, because children, from when we were growing up, because you're similar age to me, I know, but like when we were growing up, you had Nightmare on Elm Street, you had all the scary stuff, you had It, you had all that, and at that point, like, young children would be so scared of it, and I think it really produced the wrong thought for the paranormal with these films, because children just think that's the real life. And even now to this day they still see things like this, but we try and educate them a little bit more, and I think that's what you're doing is fantastic, because like you say, you're not putting them into a position where they're in there's something very negative around them. It's just education at the end of the day, and it's a big thing for me, because it's something that I wasn't given. Even though my gift came from both sides of my family, it was as I call it, poo-pooed. It was pushed away, as in, you didn't see this, you didn't see that, and it shouldn't have been. And I think what you're doing is fantastic, so thank you ever so much for that.
Thank you.
Dan, do you have any questions at all for Matt?
No. I'm just I've only just got connected to Facebook, so just bear with me. That's why I've had my head down. I'm just being on the pad going into. I didn't even have the app installed, so I had to install the app, go through all the prompts.
No worries.
So I've been half listening, so don't get me wrong, dude. I've heard everything you said, but I've been concentrating on this. So now I'm with everything. I'm just looking at all the comments now. So
no problem.
All good. Yeah. Continue
so
on.
Andrea's just put here, totally agree. Let children understand it rather than be scared of it or dismissed.
100%.
Yeah, it's so important, but and like I say, you do have to do it in the correct way. It's one of the things I do. I work with children in particular, because there are certain ways we have to produce the information to them. We can't just go plop, oh, this is this, because they're not adults. They can't focus on what an adult can focus on, right. So we have to really look at this. So I'm so pleased, Matt, that you are really doing this, and I would love to come over sometime and join you and help with that. I'd love to, but I'm going to hand over to Shelley. So thank you, Matt, for that, but I'll hand over to Shelley now. Can you hear us all right, Shelley? Ooh, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Hold on, we'll give her a second. We can't hear you, hon.
The joys of lives.
Yeah. I know. I'm so sorry, guys.
She's closing now, is there?
She's like, ooh.
She hasn't muted herself accidentally.
No, she hasn't. No.
Shelley, go back on your phone.
Yeah, there wasn't a problem on your phone. It wasn't coming from you. Just go back on the phone. It's fine.
Yeah, it wasn't coming from you, that static.
2 minutes.
All right.
Bless her. So I'll just... so just very quickly while we're waiting, Dan, have you had any experiences with spirit with items?
Items themselves? Well, not really items. When we first got into this, I was very, don't want to use the word skeptical, but we'll go with that for a lack of a better word, of what people call them, haunted items or attached items. I personally couldn't see how a entity would attach itself to a physical object, but over time, my mind's opened up, and I know now that they can. Things like that do happen, but I know personally I haven't actually had any experiences with items as such. But but no, but plenty of experiences with everything else, but not items. Yeah, so yeah, my mind's still on the fence with that.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, I've been doing what I've been doing a long time, and I haven't come across tons of items like that. I don't know. Howard, we are coming to you. We're just waiting for Shelley.
But after hearing Matt's stories and you know, I've gone, okay, so more leaning towards you know, yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Oh, you're here. So I just want to
hello,
answer
can you
this
hear me
here.
yet?
We can hear you, sweetheart. I'm just answering this for Shannon. Yeah, I'd be happy to help you, my love. Just give me a message. Not a problem at all. There we go. Shelley, can you hear us? Oh, she's gone again.
Oh, no.
The connection's pretty bad, apparently.
Talking about your doll, Matt, I was actually looking at a doll earlier on. It's from it's got an attachment to it, and it's like a child attachment, but you get like the full history of the doll as well. So do you think that's like beneficial that you get the history of it as well, rather than just going in blind?
So this doll that you saw, is someone selling it?
Uh-huh.
I have a rule of thumb. I very rarely buy a haunted item because it's usually a made-up story that someone wants to make some money. Like this Ouija board, the lady wanted to sell it, and I said, I will pay for you to ship it to me because it's a 72 Ouija board. I'm not paying for it because it's really just that. But I wanted it because I collect Ouija boards. So if something's genuinely haunted, people are going to want to get rid of it for nothing to get it out of their head. Most everything I have was gifted to me because they didn't want it. So you've got to be very wary of that. Like you can go on eBay, there's haunted dolls, there's dozens of them, $200-$300, and some garage chemist is just making some bullshit up to sell a doll to you. So my recommendation is don't buy it. A lot of the stuff too that I found in the wild at antique shops and flea markets, I felt the energy come off of them, and that's how I get some of my stuff. So
I'm just laughing at Jeremy's comment. Hi, Jeremy. I think Howard, I'm going to talk to you, and myself and Sam and Dan will have a chat to you. Just while we're waiting for Shelley, if that's all right, because I'm very conscious of you sitting there. Bless you, very kindly.
No, that's fine. I'm matter of fact, I want to thank. I'm sitting here actually. Want to thank Matthew and Matt for the wonderful jobs that they're actually doing in the paranormal field. I mean, this is awesome.
Thank you.
To see actually some positive vibes and something that affects the community and it's helping others. So I really appreciate the job that y'all are doing.
Yeah, that's it's amazing, and this is why I think we're in the UK, and it's so important with knowledge that each of us have, to join together and push it out to people. That's how it's so important, because there's so many people, and I'm sure Matt and Matthew have come across this before, and I know Matthew, we've talked about this before, when you have investigators going in.
Checking, can you hear me?
We can, yay! We have investigators going in, and they don't do their job properly, and they leave people open. We can hear you, Shelley.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can't hear you.
Okay, Sam, just message her and just tell her to ask the question, and we'll thumbs up or something when it's
well, this is going great.
Pop in the comment section and ask your questions there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I just wanted to say real quick, I think this is more what the paranormal needs, is groups of people like this doing this kind of thing, where we're talking about things real, no bullshit, just real. This is it. This is who we are. This is what we do. And that's, I think, what paranormal needs a lot more of.
Yeah, well
truthfully.
said. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I don't know yet.
So Howard, obviously, let's. I'm just going to have a chat to you. So let's have we are going to I know we've talked about having you on the show again to talk about the demonology side, but could you give us a little bit of insight into that role that you do with demonology, please?
Oh goodness. everybody, I mean, especially with the COVID epidemic that was happening out there, people actually, you shut into your homes and everything. I was getting emails and messages saying, there's a demon in my house. It's the devil. It's in my living room. Which the best thing I could tell them at that point was, give your wife some money and just let her go shopping. That's the best advice I can give you when you talk about a demon in your house. Each experience. I mean, I've never seen. I mean, I've seen 2 cases that were actually could have been demonic. One definitely demonic. But when someone says there's a demon in their home, or especially a possession, I believe in that. I mean, I've seen it. I was actually possessed at one point, so I know that that's real in the demonology world. But with someone who says they have some demonic activity in their home, it's not necessarily demonic. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something that's an evil spirit. I believe that if you're a good person in life, you're going to be a good person in death. If you're an asshole in life, you're going to be an asshole in death. So
100%.
That's where your evil comes from.
Yep.
So demonology is it's hard to miss. Each case is unique. It's personal. You just don't walk in and just, if you go in with the attitude of
the other person has call captions enabled. Please start speaking.
Hear me?
I
gotta admit, this is one of the most interesting podcasts I've ever done. This has been an exciting roller coaster. I'm just gonna say straight up, this is cool.
Oh man, can you hear me? Okay,
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Next thing you know, she's going to come through in Morse code.
I'm so sorry about that. That was absolutely crazy. I don't know what happened to my phone. I don't know what happened to my laptop.
Beep, 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 beep.
Don't know what's gonna happen next.
Okay.
So we'll
Has all captions activated.
Sorry,
I don't know
Howard.
what's happening
It
here.
interrupted you then, didn't it?
So are you getting a beep every time I speak?
No.
No, I said it's like Morse. I said next thing you know, it's going to be like Morse code. Beep, 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 beep.
I think so. My God, it totally put me off my stride there. I was so busy listening to Matt, and I was thinking, wow, Matt, I can so relate to what you were saying, like when you were talking about the Reiki and how it opened you up more. Well, I get my Reiki done in January, and how much it opened me up to a point where I was actually able to give a significant date, like 1882, wasn't it, Sam? And it was so significant that I even surprised myself coming up with names and stuff like that. It's amazing how much Reiki can actually open you up to
Absolutely.
to be able to connect with spirit. It was absolutely fantastic. And then we're talking about dogs. I don't know what you were talking about when I wasn't here, because
we were just literally having a short conversation with Howard about his demonology, his thoughts on the demonology side of things. So we'll hand over to you, my lovely, now.
Right, that's lovely. Howard, I'm so sorry. You've waited so long just to have these questions and to be spoken to. I know I don't really need to talk about demonology, but that is a subject that I'm quite fascinated with as well. But you're a very busy man.
Oh yes, I'm very busy. I mean, I try to stay busy. I think if you, it's the devil's work. What's that expression? It's the devil, idle hands leads to the devil, or something. So yeah, I'm always busy. Right now I'm doing 3 podcast shows, getting ready to start a 4th, going on a 4th one. So I will be. I have the Paranormal Swamp Talk that's on Wednesdays, and then I have the Petri Dish that's on Thursdays, and then on Holy Trinity that's on Fridays. But on Sundays, I'm going to actually be on an all-women's talk show. It's called Hey Boo. So I'm gonna have to be a woman. I'm gonna be, I got a wig,
You're very prepared.
You can use your beads from the Mardi Gras, Howard.
Yeah, I can. I mean, we had a discussion about that last night on the Holy Trinity, but like I was saying, the Paranormal Swamp Talk is basically a good show. It's straightforward. We talk about the paranormal, and we talk about everything in the paranormal. It's not just spirit; it's also cryptids, UFOs, and things that we cover all bases. The Petri dish is NC-17 rated because we do use some language on there. Our discussions on those shows can range from anything, but it's usually related to the paranormal. The Unholy Trinity, that is NC-17, and it has a disclaimer. And we talk about the sick side of stuff. We ask questions that no one else would even think about, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think I saw one of your polls. I actually saw one of your polls, and I'm not going to repeat it. I mean, you can actually repeat the question because you know what poll I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
And some of the answers that you had put up there, some of the suggestions, I was like, oh my God.
We did a poll because we want to know what we want the audience to be more interactive with us. We want to be able to talk to everyone out there and tell us what their feelings are and stuff in that nature. We had a poll where we asked, what would you want us to talk about? And the two top answers that polled really high was do spirit watch you while you're having sex, and do they also watch you when you go to the bathroom? So the restroom. So that was the two we asked.
If they wanted to, why not?
There was another one about Loch Ness Monster as well, but that's I was like, what am I actually reading here? This is crazy.
We had an hour and a half discussion. We had a show that was about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and the topic was does Bigfoot have venereal diseases and do they spread? So I mean,
wow, what the?
So my shows are really out there. They're crazy. We want to have fun. We want to show people that the paranormal side is not always serious. We are people too. We like to have fun. We joke around. We laugh, and we enjoy life. Of course, if you go on an investigation, we play pranks on each other after we're serious about the investigations, but afterwards we like to play pranks on each other.
Have fun.
Just to have fun.
Kind of be serious all the time, really, but you've got to have a laugh while doing it as well.
Right.
How long have you been doing investigations for, Howard?
I've been in the paranormal field for over 30 years. I've been doing investigations. Oh goodness. I've gotten actually interested in the paranormal when I was about 5. I seen my great grandfather. He was standing in front of me. I woke up out of a dead dream, and you can look at it as if you're just waking up and seeing something, but I just woke up wide awake, and I haven't really known my great grandfather, but he was there, and he just dissipated in front of me. So I went running to my parents' room. I mean, I like a bat out of hell. I was in that bed with him, and I was asking my mom, I seen Great Papa. I seen Great Papa. Yeah. And her answer to me was, well, he's asking you for prayers. So she tried to, console me that way. But ever since then, I've seen different things through my life, and it just got more interested. I just started doing the basics. Get an old digital recorder and just walked around the baby powder. I mean, that's old school stuff that I was doing. I mean, when you was a kid, that's what you had, and that's what you used.
I love a bit of old school stuff, honestly.
Yeah, always works. That's it.
Matt was saying he has dolls, haunted dolls. Matt, I'm gonna tell you, I don't like a doll, and I hate dolls, and I hate clowns.
Well, we've got Chris Sanders is watching. He's got one.
Yeah, Sam doesn't like clowns
too, actually.
Sam doesn't like clowns at all. She's terrified for clowns.
It was always been told to me that on the demonology side, it's always been told to me that you have porcelain doll, it's an empty vessel. You have children that play with it. You have young ladies that have them, and older women collect them. They're easy to love. They're lifelike and everything. So it's easy for something negative to actually inhabit a doll.
Mhm.
And that's where you get the haunted dolls from. Actually, I talked to the Ghosty Girls. That's Grace and Vivi. They're out of California. Youngest paranormal investigators I've ever seen. They started at 9 and 7 when they started.
Whoa. Whoa.
They have haunted dolls, and they have the stories behind these dolls. I mean, it's amazing to talk to these young ladies. Before I get too far into this, also I want to say it was also talking about haunted locations, saving haunted locations. Right now, Matthew should know about this. Waverly Hills. Waverly Hills is underneath a battle right now.
Yeah.
And so if you can, if out there, support Waverly Hills. Go out there and say, SaveWaverlyHills.com. Give support. Actually, they're now attacking Ernie and Denise Pack from Pac-Man Paranormal because they're big supporters of this. They actually had in the SQs and Beth Allen. They're all involved in that. So if you cannot go out there, if anybody, just help them out the best you can. Show support.
Yeah, of course.
Waverly Hills is one of probably the most awesome locations I've ever seen. I've never been there personally. I won't go there until it is saved. I mean, I'm putting a boycott against it, so I'm not doing that. But I am from New Orleans. There's not a rock you can't kick over. You can't say it ain't haunted. I mean, it's really thick here, so the locations here are mass. You can go anywhere basically. I mean, there's something haunted in this area. As for myself, being busy and stuff like that, I like I said, I do the podcast shows. I do the investigation. Also, I have a foundation. It's a 501c3. That's the Jessica Marie Petrie Foundation, and that touches the home both for helping people and for on the paranormal side. It's totally something different. But we're here with the Jessica Marie Petrie Foundation. We help pregnant women who are suffering from perinatal, prenatal, postpartum depression, and mental illnesses. That's how I lost my daughter. We asked and begged for help. She was diagnosed schizophrenic. She had a PTSD when she was raped when she was younger. She was also suffering from social anxieties, and she was manic depressive. And when a young woman or a woman becomes pregnant, of course, the ladies should know this, when you become pregnant, they take you off all your medications. And you basically out there alone. And when they did it to her, of course, the walls came crashing down on her. She started exhibiting auditory hallucinations. She was seeing things, as in seeing dead people and stuff like that, which later on I found out it wasn't. They don't believe it was schizophrenia. I talked to a few of my medium friends, and they said that she was possibly a very strong medium. That's what she was seeing. It was suppressing it and stuff. My daughter was also dabbled in different religions because she just couldn't find her place in life. She was born Christian. She got into Buddhism, Satanism at one point, a little bit of that. She studied the Quran, and finally she ended up becoming Wiccan, and she found religion. She finally found peace with that. But as for the foundation, like I said, we tried to get help for her, and we got shut out. So when she passed away, I actually we found her. So it wasn't just she committed suicide. I found her, or me and my son did. So and that's, I mean, I can go into details about that, but I really don't, feel like I should. After that, I started advocating for pregnant women, and it was shortly after, and it just fell on deaf ears. So I figured, well, let's do a foundation, and it cost quite a bit of money to do it because it's medical and mental. It's not just one or the other. So I had to. It costs a little extra, but I think it's worth it to help just one soul, one person. You're actually saving two if you think about it. You're saving the mother and the child. So we started doing that, Also, since then, on the paranormal side, I've had 3 paranormal investigation teams come in my home. I live on an extremely haunted piece of property. I've seen my daughter 4 times, full body apparition.
Wow.
We've got photos. Just captured, just boom, she would just pop up out of nowhere.
She wants
And
you
I
to
think-
know she's all right, Howard. That's what that is.
Right.
and I
Trying
know
to bring
that.
you comfort. And,
Yeah, she is.
yeah.
Beautiful
And when
girl.
I tell her to move on, and I tell her, I'll go to her room, and her room's the same exact way when she left. This world. I'll go sit in her room and I'll talk to her, and I'll tell her she needs to move on. She needs to find peace. When I do that, that's when shit gets real around here.
Yeah,
you see,
because the thing is, she's where she
Definitely want
wants
to.
to be.
Yeah,
She's where-
exactly.
she
She
breaks
doesn't
things.
want
I
to
mean,
move on. She knows she's got yous there.
and she breaks things all the time. We knew something was up. I bought a brand new car. I mean, it had a sticker on it. I mean, this thing was brand new, and went outside one day and the battery drained. It was gone. Brought the battery back to the dealership, and they said, "We've never seen this before." So I got a new battery in it, but at the same time, my parents live a little bit down the street from me, and she used to walk back and forth to my house and to my parents' house to go visit her grandparents. Their batteries were drained the same way. So it was like she was feeding that energy and getting that energy just to walk back and forth like that. So, but she's not the only thing that's actually here. We also, since it's Louisiana, and in which I was amazed when I found this out, the War of Independence was fought with the 13 colonies and everything, but they had actually a war here at that same time during the Civil War. I mean, the Spanish War of Independence. I believe it was the Spanish and the British. The British was trying to come in through the South, I guess to go up through that way instead of just coming straight over the seas like that. But they had a war here, so that was all fought through here. And they have a plaque that's out actually by the lake that was close by. It's called the Battle of Lake Pontchartrain, and that was quite unique. They talked about schooners and all that stuff that was fought. But anyway, we had the War of Independence that was fought through here. We had the Spanish-American War that was fought through here, and we also had the Civil War that was fought through here. The War of Independence was fought through here. Oh, okay. And, you can still
Sorry,
go,
guys, I'm having an issue with my internet, I think.
Charlotte, you've appeared twice.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
nightmare.
there she goes.
Yeah, I know. There we go.
you can go out
So
to the
sorry.
older oak trees out here, and you can actually dig out lead slugs in
Thanks,
oak trees,
Nick.
round slug. I've been digging in the yard, and I found cannonballs. Actually, cannonballs. And dug those up and then turned them over to the Archival Museum in New Orleans. There's actually a lot of rivers where I'm at, and they have sunken schooners and boats. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And there's talks about they also have a large armory that's somewhere around here. So people are always looking for that, and they never did find it yet. But besides that war, the Civil War, I'm on Indian burial ground. You can go walk into the woods also, and you see these mounds. You don't mess with them. I'm not going to go kicking no bones or anything.
It sounds quite similar to like the Skinwalker Ranch, although it's more like war history you've got where you are.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy here. Matter of fact, if you see a lot of these shows like you'll see on TV, especially with Amy Allen, the Dead Files, that's right here. I mean, that's all around it. But they do a lot. Matter of fact, ghost hunters were here, the old ghost hunters from I believe it was the 1970s. They had the Gemini. It was called the Gemini Club, but it was a totally different name back then. And upstairs, we had the restaurant down below, but you had a nightclub above the second floor. And back in those days, prostitution was fine. You had the red light district. That was fine. But they didn't have anything for homosexuals. So they it was a club for men. We called it a men's club. And they found out about it, and it was packed, and they caught this place on fire. They burned it down, and these men, a lot of men died. The city of New Orleans did not want their bodies, so they transported all their bodies to on this side of the lake, and they're buried right here in the Mandeville Cemetery. So the ghost hunters were there, and they were trying to do a cross thing where they were getting information. They would actually talking to them and seeing if they will actually communicate back to where the actual club was at in the city itself. So that was an experiment they were doing. I don't know what was the outcome on that. I'll forget, but yeah, that was an amazing story there. But yeah, that's basically about. Any questions?
Can I get back to your foundation, please, Howard, if that's okay? Has there been any developments? You know, your daughter was obviously let down by the system, and your foundation is there to kind of highlight this and to try and help other mothers that are in similar situations. Has there been any changes in the system that would maybe kind of help other mums?
You have to remember, this is Louisiana, and Matthew, I believe you living in Tennessee, you know how the South is. Not putting anything towards Matt. Y'all more open-minded and civilized, where we are dumb country hicks and rednecks and everything else.
I'm glad you said it.
It takes time. It takes time for us to catch up. And right now, I'm talking to the governor. I'm trying to set up an appointment. I had one set up, the COVID hit, but I'm trying to set up another one with the governor of Louisiana and the Department of Health and Hospital. When Jessica was asking for help, I was there with her. I was asking for help. We begged and pleaded hospitals. We begged and pleaded. I was going to put her in a mental hospital. I was going to put her in any medical hospital, anything that would take her in and help her.
Yeah.
But it just fell on deaf ears. In the state of Louisiana, it's say if you have a mental problem, if you're a pregnant mother, and you walk in and you're wearing, say, Charlotte's wearing that red shirt, or Sam's wearing them glasses, or you wearing you wear your necklace on or something. If they didn't like it, sorry, we ain't got no room. They would turn you away. Later on, I found out from a person that works in the healthcare system, who works for the state, that these hospitals do that for a reason. The reason being is that you take a pregnant mother and you put her on the same floor with someone who's actually having, mental problems, and something happens to that mother, it's a massive lawsuit. It's a liability. So they'd rather turn you away. And that's what happened to Jessica. She was turned away repeatedly. So I'm trying to get legislation passed where that cannot happen again. So I'm working on that in our state.
And of course, they're trying so hard to raise to just for donations, for appealing. I seen the Johnny Rock's appeal, and that really, really touched my heart watching that. I mean, it really did. It was so emotional, and for anybody that wants to kind of go and visit, they go onto Facebook and look at the Jessica Marie Pitre Foundation. They'll be able to watch that appeal on there, and then hopefully we'll share it out as well, and hopefully we can raise more awareness to your foundation, because it's.
I am out there and I am promoting this stuff, and I have a lot of support, but I don't have sponsors yet. So I am talking with one of the largest healthcare systems in Louisiana. They cover Louisiana, parts of Texas, and parts of Arkansas, and Mississippi. I'm talking with them and talks with them. I'm also in talks with another healthcare system. So it's two healthcare systems I'm talking to.
And also, if there's anybody that's watching here that has that can think of anybody that could help with the foundation, being a sponsor, please let Howard know, or one of us know, and we'll get in contact with Howard. Because this is something and this is one of the reasons why I set this show up, was because there is not enough help out there for mental health. And a lot of mental health in the paranormal gets looked over as, something else. And it's so, so important. I've got PTSD myself. I had a major operation that went wrong and the doctor nearly killed me. And I ended up with PTSD. I live with it day to day. I've had treatment, but still, it took 2 years to get my treatment. 2 years, and there was nothing in the interim, and now I get on with things. But this is why I'm an advocate to help people for mental health. It's so important. And this foundation, it really, like Shelley said, I was watching the promotional video and I just was in tears with it, Howard. I really was, because I have had perinatal depression myself. I knew what it was. I was lucky that I knew what was happening with me, and I managed to get some form of help with it, and I managed to get that help. And unfortunately for your daughter, it just wasn't there, and it saddens me that it isn't there, because it's so important. But there's just not, even here in the UK, obviously we've got the NHS, but we have private clinics. We still do not have enough people covering the mental health system, and there's so much damage done because of it, that could be stopped or could be helped. And this is why we do this. So I'm so pleased, Howard, that you've been able to speak about this, because it's meant a lot to us. So thank you so much. Sorry, Shelley, I just had to pop in with that.
Many slips through the system as well. It's so easy for someone just to slip through.
It's not just that. The healthcare system, not just in the United States, but throughout the world, has failed. It's no longer existing. And this is something that we need to look at as a world, not just a nation, but as a world.
It's a world war, trying to battle the mental health.
I don't know if you knew this, but since COVID actually became, when everybody was locked in their homes, and we were talking about the demonology part, people believing it was the devil and stuff in their house. That was, that's true, but suicide rates have went up. It's skyrocketed. And it's because you're confined to either your family or you're confined alone. You don't have anyone, and it will just drive you crazy to the point where you contemplate suicide. The suicide rates actually almost triple throughout the world. So I mean, that's something with the mental health system that's really needed now.
Definitely.
Because a lot of people will be suffering from PTSD because of this. And so there's a lot of things that need to be done right now in the mental health system. So it needs to be looked at and reevaluated and try to get help out there.
As individuals, we try to do our best. I mean, even if it's just to offer a cup of tea and I talk to somebody, or just a phone call, collectively, that is great. But we need that extra help and support from the system to try and amplify and just help everybody that we've got round about us. Because, as you say, there's too much sadness and people taking their own lives, and it shouldn't get to that point where people feel that position.
And this is why there is a lot of stigma.
Actually, right now, the doctors that are coming out for psychiatrists from school are non-existent numbers now. There are no doctors, no psychiatrists right now. There's nothing. It's become where it's dying. The whole mental health system.
And I think that's why it's so important when because if you actually look at the bigger picture of people that go on paranormal investigations, there's usually, with the majority of them, something behind that has happened to them, not necessarily mental health. They've had a situation that's happened that's driven them to go forward and actually look into doing this and to research and things like that, and we all seem to have something happen to us when we're a child or things like that. But it's so important when going on these investigations that you just don't write it off as a possession. You don't write it off as an attachment, because actually up here it's so important. These things have to be looked at first before you start to write them off as other things, and Howard, it's amazing what you're doing. It really is.
We have programs set up and everything. We have a lot of programs and everything that's set up. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that, Shelley, but we do have programs in place that we want to actually implement, and it takes cash to do this. I mean, so that's the thing. I mean, like I'll give you an example of some of our programs that we really want to do. Of course, it's going to be one-on-one counseling. We have to have that one-on-one counseling. 2 is group therapy. Now, I am a recovering alcoholic. I was an alcoholic for 24 years, and I've been sober for 12. This actually, January 11th was my birthday for 12 years of being sober.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well done,
Fantastic.
yeah.
And
Well done.
the AA meetings I've been to, it's about, you have of course you have someone who sits there and kind of oversees everything, but it's like you have different people there that are at different levels. You might have someone that's been completely sober for years and years, but you might have someone who's just came in and he's got the shakes and everything. He's drinking coffee like crazy and everything. So those people help each other. And that's where I want to, that was another thing, especially with women who are suffering from postpartum depression. Have those women sitting in their room and they can help each other, actually. They can do more for each other than any psychiatrist can do. We're going to also, we had a program for Mommy and Me classes, because with postpartum depression, I've heard horror stories of mothers actually smothering their babies, because they just can't take it no more. I mean, it's in their mind. It's actually, and they believe that. And it's not their fault. So we're talking about Mommy and Me classes, infant and child first aid and CPR classes. We also want to implement food and nutrition, which I've been in talks with the New Orleans Culinary Institute. I got some sous chefs that actually want to help, which that place, New Orleans Culinary, their chefs go out throughout the world. Some of the greatest chefs that came out of that place. They want to actually help women who have themselves a pregnant mother and their significant other come in and actually teach them how to cook properly. Whereas you need to eat your broccoli, and you cannot stand broccoli. There's other ways they can cook that broccoli, or squash or something, where you will enjoy that, and it's healthy for you. Also, we were talking about yoga, which is stretching and breathing, so that helps with childbirth. The biggest one, I have to actually sell this one, is light impact aerobics. A lot of people don't. Light impact aerobics. Some people say, well, that's just overkill. You're just trying to help a mother that wants to help her lose weight. Right. Well, yeah, it does. And the way I sell it is that a pregnant woman will look at herself after she has a child. And I'm pretty sure, Matt, you've seen this, where they look at themselves in the mirror and they go, ooh. And I'm 53 years old and I look in the mirror and I go, ooh. So, I feel what they're going through. Okay. So, it helps them lose weight.
Kids, and I know, me and Charlotte will both had quite a few kids between us. And you always look at yourself and think, oh.
But what it does when you do the light impact aerobics, it helps you do two things. One, it helps you lose that baby fat and that weight. But the biggest thing is it builds up endorphins, big time. And that's that feel-good stuff that you get. And that way, when you're suffering from postpartum depression, you don't have to over-medicate or take a lot of medication at that point, antidepressants. So your body's actually healing itself.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that we're looking at doing with that part.
So it's fantastic. So you're educating them, so that then they can find a different path. That's brilliant. It's brilliant what you're doing. Fantastic.
Well, I have a lot of support from the parent, the groups that I belong with. I have a lot of support that comes in through that, and they help out and they do what they can. And like I said, I am talking. We've gotten a couple of little local sponsors. Actually, one of them is called the Creole Tomato. That's in Mandeville. Some of the best food. You want some good Cajun food? Oh, that's dope. Because look, I'm a what you call it, a three badger, a three striper. And if you ever look at a coon's ass, they got three stripes around a coon's ass. And if you got all three stripes, you're full blooded. And the other place that we have that actually sponsors us is Voodoo Authentica. They offer Domain Street in New Orleans. Amazing place. They actually have practicing voodoo priests and priestesses that actually work there. They do readings and all that stuff. They also sell stuff that you want to cleanse your home with. They have the smudge sticks. They have everything, which I wasn't made aware of. Was like camphor. You have camphor that's like the drop in the nuclear. If you're doing a cleansing, camphor. You can burn it or use it as a spray. You know, you crush it in a spray. That's like dropping a nuclear bomb in the house. It cleans everything. You know, it's like bleach. But they sell stuff. They also like me. I'm Cajun. That's what they call a gree bag.
Gree bag. Yep.
Yeah. That this one here, they make them for different things. This one here is made specially for me. It's for protection and health. But you can get it for money. You can get it for love. You can get whatever your little heart wants. Or you can go there and they also online, so you can actually order their stuff and see everything's authentic in this place. Everything comes from what's the name of that? I can't forget the name of that freaking place now. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, everything's authentic. All the masks, the voodoo dolls, everything is authentically made. So that's an awesome place. Matter of fact, I'm getting married on May 22nd.
I was just going to mention that.
Congratulations. That's great news as well.
Yeah, I finally said yes.
I really said yes.
And it's going to be a paranormal wedding. Matter of fact, the person who's going to be overseeing everything, conducting the ceremony is Ane Shin. I don't know if you ever heard of Ane. She's a medium psychic. She's awesome. She's very gifted. She volunteered. I'm coming to marry you. I said, okay. So she's coming down. A lot of people from the paranormal field is coming in. And right now we've gotten to the point where it's about 10 weeks planning a wedding. You're talking about Matthew setting up. Try planning a wedding. I mean, that is, and she's still stuck on the dress. I mean, I'm all over the place. I mean, I'm doing flowers and DJ and all this other stuff. But
and it's great because you're going to be doing it in a live feed as well, aren't you? Yeah, so everybody will be able to watch that. That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be like Prince Charles and Princess Diana got married.
It's going to be bigger than that. Bigger than that.
David, you can be the flower girl. I don't know.
Yay!
Actually, I had Ricky Heller wanted to be the flower girl, but and Ricky David, David is a great guy. I love him. But yeah, we're talking about, like I said, paranormal wedding, which I mean it's paranormal. It's in a haunted location. The place is haunted.
Fantastic.
And everything, we got the tablecloth's going to be black, and she's looking at dresses right now. She either wants a dress that looks like Morticia Adams or Lily Munster, and she's going to be carrying, you know, you got the fancy flowers. She's going to be carrying lilies instead of. So it's going to be awesome with that. The wedding cake. People think about these beautiful weddings. Our wedding cake is going to be black and purple. That's it.
Love that. I actually just cannot wait for this, to be honest. I don't. Can't wait to watch it.
Cake topper, you know, I don't know if she can hear me, but Jackie, I'd love to show you this. It's the cake topper. It's about 6 inches tall, and it's 2 skeletons in an embrace. That's going to be on top of it. And of course, the bride and groom. So that's going to be that. The catering, I'm doing the cooking. I'm catering. Can you get that cake topper for me, please? I'm cooking all the food. If you know me, I love to cook. I'm cooking chicken and sausage, gumbo, authentic stuff. And I brought that.
Gumbo. Flaming love that stuff.
Everybody praises that gumbo. They love that gumbo. So I'm cooking gumbo. I'm cooking either crawfish or shrimp etouffee, jambalaya. I'm ordering only things, 2 things I'm ordering, or 3 things I'm ordering is we're going to have authentic po' boys that are going to be like finger sandwiches from New Orleans. And then we're going to have boudin balls, what they call boudin balls. If you ever had boudin before, that is amazing. And beignets. We're going to have some beignets, a lot of beignets.
Yeah, beignets. Lovely.
And of course,
that's just like not.
How would you paying for an open bar? And like all these drunks are coming now. Oh hell no! So I had to cut the bar back because that's going to run me up more than the whole wedding. Oh, here you go. This is the wedding.
I'm with David on that in the crawfish.
Yeah, I'm actually with David on that.
Oh wow!
I know what crayfish is.
That is cool. I love Crit. Oh, it's brilliant.
Oh, look at that. Well, so you're not just busy, but you're just going to make yourself even more busier by doing all the cooking for your own wedding.
Well, that's the thing. I'm gonna be cooking my butt off. They're talking about her having a bachelorette party, and they said, "Howie, you want a bachelor party?" And this is third time's a charm for Howie. So,
Wow.
I'm lucky.
You're a pro.
so I've already had 3 bachelor parties, but I was only married twice. And the reason being, the first bachelor party I had, I didn't remember it, so I had to have a second one for that one. And then, of course, I had another bachelor, and they want to have a bachelor party for this one. So I said, guys, you know what? Our bachelor party, I already got set up. Y'all going to help me cook?
Yeah, that's that. Just get them all cooking.
Yeah.
Well, listen, really, well, I look forward to watching the wedding, and absolutely wish you all the best with that. And again, we'll share out your foundation as much as we can.
Thank you very much.
And another thing, we never really get talking about the film much, but we can, because you've got a film coming out as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have a film that's
It's
coming
coming
out
out
March
this
8th.
Yeah.
It's going to be with Renee Zellweger. The movie's called The Thing About Pam. It comes on the 8th. Or 2 Charlottes.
Yeah, two
There's
Charlottes
Charlotte
again.
again.
I'm having real issues with
Double
my
tr-
internet. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It's double trouble.
If I have
And,
to bow out, you know why? Because this is
Yeah.
just playing up big time.
Yeah.
Well, I like the Charlotte on the left. She's really steady, and she seems confident, and seems which she knows
Very
she's
engaged in that photo.
Yeah.
Where that still shot.
right.
I mean, as far as technical hitches go, tonight's got to be the favourite. It really has. It's kind of went. Oh, we're back.
Thanks, Nick. I was a twin, actually. My twin died in utero, but anyway.
But a lot of these guys are coming in.
Dan, where's Dan? We've not got a Dan. Where's Dan gone?
So a lot of
No,
these guys.
Dan's battery, but he messaged his battery was going on his phone, so it's dropped out, unfortunately.
Oh my God, okay. Well, listen, it was good for him to come up and join us at the end of the night. And honestly, thank you guys as well for
Been really
coming
good
on. It's
talking to
been
you.
fascinating. Loved it.
It has indeed.
Even with all the technical difficulties.
Matter of fact, Nick is going to be at the wedding. I have a lot of people that's coming to this thing, and they're coming in early. That's what's kicking me in the butt. I was like, they all come. We're getting married on a Sunday, and they're coming in Wednesday. So it's like I got to cook and entertain. So it's like, and I'm bringing them to New Orleans, and we're going to do the thing in New Orleans. We're just going to do New Orleans. I'm going to bring them to like Pirates Alley, which is on it. Jean Lafitte's blacksmith shop. We're going to try to get them in front of the Laurie Mansion. Try to get them in front of the Laurie Mansion. Let them take pictures and stuff like that. So there's a lot of haunted locations in the city that we're going to do like a ghost walk and stuff like that, and let them get drunk. Of course, we're going to have to hit Pat O'Brien's and get liquored up there, and then bring them on over to Jean Lafitte's and them liquored up over there. And by that time, we just had to call an ambulance and just start hauling them out.
Oh, but good. Really well be good. And I'm sure your wife to be will be looking forward to it as well.
I don't know about that. She loves me, but she's like, we've been engaged for 5 years, and it was like pull the teeth, set a date. I'm thinking about a date. And then she pops up, okay, we're going to do it May 22nd. That was like a week ago. Less than 3 months, you want me to, we're going to do a wedding. We did something simple. And it went from very casual, like me going up there. I was thinking about just wearing, sweatpants or something, then the open field somewhere, just get married, and just have friends and stuff. From casual to this, now it's like semi-formal and all this other stuff. So you just keep going ahead and shoving that money out, woman. Go ahead. That's all right.
You know what you're needing? You're needing to do a Charlotte and have two Howards.
Yeah.
2 Howards would be good, wouldn't it?
I need them. Everybody's asking me where we registered at. I don't know. I just got hit with this a week ago. You want to know where I'm registered at? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
You're registered. Just
I'm
any
having
kind of
real
normal-
issues with this internet. I might have to bow out, guys, because I just
Right.
can't.
Well, I think we've had a great night anyway, and the time
We
is
have.
it's 11:10. So we really, again, can't thank you enough, guys, for coming on. And to everybody that shared and commented and just joined us for tonight, it's been fantastic. And thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks for having
While
us.
I can still,
Everybody,
while I can
thanks for
still
sharing.
speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll
thank you,
wrap it up
guys.
there. We'll wrap it up there, and we'll see you in our next show, which is Charlotte, which
The 12th.
the 12th of the
Yes,
12th of March.
So, yeah, we've
Next
got Ernie
week.
Atwell and George Shoplin in on that one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That'll be a good
So
show.
yeah, we'll look forward to that.
So
Okay.
thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We'll just ask the
Thank
guests
you for
just to
having us.
hang back for a minute before we disappear off altogether, if that's all right. But thank you, guys, for joining us, and lots of love out to you. And again, if there is anybody that is struggling, I'm sure each and every one of us here, we're all happy to listen. We are here for you, okay?
Yeah.
I've just seen what Nick's written there.
Okay, that will be on as another Charlotte.
Nick, one's enough. We don't need two.
Thanks. All right, guys. Thank you ever so much, and we will see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.